Microsoft PowerPoint 2003, creating presentations with templates. We all know the day comes where we have to create a presentation very quickly, or perhaps we're just kind of stuck. We're not very creative today and we need some help. That's where our Auto Content Wizard and design templates can help us out. There are two basic ways to start off presentations with templates. Now, there's a few of them, but the two main ones are using the Auto Content Wizard and also using the design templates. And we're going to show you how to do both in this video. At some point, we are going to want to get a presentation up and running. So, one of the things we can do is take advantage of the power of PowerPoint. It includes a couple of things that we can do, including the Auto Content Wizard, which is the first thing we'll show you. And then we'll show you just how, if you want to kind of start from scratch yourself and create your own presentation. The good news is when you open up PowerPoint 2003, you get this screen. You have your blank default design. Notice down here, as we mentioned in a previous video, here's what tells you which design you're currently using. The default design is very blank. You have a title slide, which will always be the first slide that shows up. And after you've done a title slide, if I come over here and click a new slide, it then goes into what is called your typical slide or your presentation slide. So you have a title slide, which will have a title and a subtitle, and then you'd have your presentation slide, which has a little bit different layout. Now, notice when I did this, I get the slide layout task pane shows up for this particular design. Now, of course, your mileage may vary depending on which one you have, but I'll scroll down and it gives you a whole bunch of different layouts on how you can lay things out. You can do title, text, and media clips, charts, where you want it to chart on the left-hand side or do you want the chart on the right-hand side, and it will go through and apply that slide layout and it'll give you some help. Now, if you get a little distracted by the fact that every time you add a new slide, this shows up. Look down here at the bottom. It says show when inserting new slides. You can deselect that, and so that way the next time, let me go ahead and close that. Next time I go ahead and click new slide, notice what happens. Number 3 shows up, and it doesn't change, doesn't add it. Now, if you're like, oh wait, I want that. Remember, all you need to do is come over here and view, and come over here and bring up the task pane and the slide layout. And if it doesn't show up as slide layout, you can choose whichever one you want. Slide layout will typically be the one that's selected here. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you the Auto Content Wizard, because that's typically for a lot of people. If you're just like, I need a presentation, I need one quick, and I want it to look at least decent, no problem, we can do that. So I come up here to File, New, and what it does is it says, okay, new presentation task pane. What do you want to create? You can do a blank presentation, which is the default. You can pick the design template and then just start with one slide and move on. Or you can use the Auto Content Wizard or from an existing presentation. This is really nice when perhaps you have a whole bunch of presentations that have been made in the past and all you want to do is change a little bit of the content to reflect what you want to do. Maybe you have a friend who has a really cool, background and the animations and the slides and the text and everything is great. Well, what you do is you have them send it to you, email it to you or whatever. Click on From Existing Presentation. It will then say, oh, you want to use that template? Okay, boom, and it'll create it for you. But let's show you the Auto Content Wizard. Click on Auto Content Wizard and off we go. Let me bring it up here a little bit. Tells you exactly what's going on. You can cancel it or you can finish without making any changes. Now, what do you mean by changes? Well, it'll stick with the default ones from presentation type, style, and options if you click finish at this point. But we're going to go ahead and click next. Now, the first thing it's going to say is, hey, what type of presentation are you going to do? Are we going to do a generic one, just standard presentation? It could be about why the sky is blue. Well, that would be a nice generic one. Recommending a strategy, which is always nice. You can say, okay, I want to say this is the way we're taking our company in the future. Communicating bad news. Guess what? Sometimes you have to be the one that gets tapped to say that, well, our stock price has been falling the past couple of quarters. How do you communicate that in a way that's, a little less painful? Training. I use this one quite a bit. Brainstorming sessions where you're trying to gather input, and even certificate presentations. And if you notice out here, you have all, which will give you every single one of them that you can do. Company handbooks, group home pages, selling a product or service. Company handbook is usually like an HR presentation. But see, I can do general, which is the ones we saw, corporate, which gives us corporate type of things like the company handbook. We can do projects, where you can do a project overview as a project management guru. Well, I'm not a guru, but project management, PMP. I use these occasionally on our project for our project teams, especially this one, Project Postmodern. Then you got sales and marketing, selling a product or service, marketing plan, product services overview. Well, in keeping with our tradition here in the Office 2003, I'm a closet musician. I like playing a lot of instruments, and that's why if you notice in Excel and my word titles, I've used Acme Instruments Incorporated. Well, guess what? We're going to use that as well throughout these presentations. So product services overview. So we go, okay, this is the one I want to do. If I wanted to add a template, I just click on Add. That's not a problem. And I can pick a template if I want to, but we'll just stick with the product services overview. Click Next. It says, what type of output will you use? Are you doing it on screen? Is this going to be a web presentation? Do you want to print black and white overheads that you can use on an overhead projector, or color overheads? And check this out. You have to have a special printer to do this, but you can do 35mm slides. Remember the old slide show presentation, or click, 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 and then of course it would get stuck, or they go, oh wait a minute, they're upside down or out of order. You can still do it. You can do 35mm slides, which are kind of fun. We'll stick with the on-screen presentation, which is typically what I'm going to be using. And we'll talk about each one of these, mostly the web presentation, these two, when we go through our video presentations. But just recognize those are available. What's the presentation title? Well, let's say new instrument availability. Say I'm doing one where we're announcing some of the new instruments that Acme Instruments Incorporated will produce and sell. Now here it says items to include on each slide. Now in the footer are going to be the date last updated and the slide number. You can also put the name of your company. You could say Acme Instruments Incorporated. Okay? So if you got your incorporation there, and put that, and that'll be at the footer at the bottom of each slide. The slide number, the date it was updated, as well as the Acme Instruments. I typically do not use the date last updated, only because when I'm doing presentations, I like to start over from scratch and do something. But if you do want to know the last time this was updated based on information, especially if you're going through and you find a presentation, you go, oh, I wonder if I can use that. Well, you go and look at the date last updated and notice that, oh, wait a minute, this is a year ago, so this is a year-old information. Maybe I don't want to use this particular presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and take it off for me anyway. Click Next, and it's going to say, all right, those are all the answers you need. Click Finish to view the document. So we cross our fingers, we click Finish, it goes and comes in, and look at that. New instrument availability. Wow, this is kind of cool. What it does is it has filled in several pieces of information for us and created our outline, and then all we need to do, and I just scroll down to the next slide here, is I can go in and put in text for each one of these. So I click over here. I can do features and benefits. Scroll down here a little bit. What are the applications for this? And I can change the titles for these slides and change the font. But look down here at the footer. Acme Instruments Incorporated and the slide number. So here's our footer information. Everything that we put in to this particular presentation with the Auto Content Wizard, and now all we have to do is come in here and replace this information with whatever we want. Pricing. Maybe here I want to put a little price chart on here. Down here under availability, when are we going to have the availability dates? Where the product can be purchased, or where to direct orders. Notice each one of these are pre-built. I got 7 slides. Now what if I want to add another slide? Can I still do that? Absolutely. Just go to the end here, click New Slide, and watch what happens. It goes in and creates a brand new slide with the same design template, Product and Services Overview. And then I merely come in here and add my title. I can just say Future Availability. Now we'll show you how to do some of these different things and how to click. But the nice thing about the Auto Content Wizard and design templates is they tell you where to click and where you start adding text and doing things, and you can make changes. But the Auto Content Wizard is quite good at just coming together and putting together a how would I put it, a nice, quick, easy presentation that you can just tweak a little bit and then you're able to walk out. I mean, it could probably take me about 30 minutes to come in here and change the features and benefits. I probably have a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet somewhere that has a lot of this information. Because I'm using Office 2003, I can go out to those devices or to those applications and copy and paste and bring that text in over here, and it will automatically come in the appropriate font and formatting and everything I need, and I can tweak it. So Auto Content Wizard, a lot of people sneer at it. I've had to use it myself on occasion. By the way, someone says, well, wow, that was kind of cool. It put your name in there. Why is that? Well, that's because when we installed Office 2003, I said when I put my information in, Office is going to use it as the default for my name, sometimes the company. It depends on the information that you put in there. And of course, you can also come up to Options under Tools, and you can come in here and make changes as well on what information is automatically included when it has those fields that it needs to fill into. So far, so good. All we've done here is we've created a custom presentation on the fly using the Auto Content Wizard. Now, what if I don't want to use the Auto Content Wizard where it automatically puts in like this overview, this features and benefits, the applications, or the basically content, because it is an auto content. But I do want to create a custom new presentation that uses a certain design template. Easy. File, click New, or you can use Control-N. Again, it's going to open up the New Presentation task pane over here. I'm going to come here and say I want to create it from a design template. Now when I select this, it's going to have all the design templates available right through here. I have my used in this presentation, recently used. Remember, I used this one for one of my previous videos. And then if you scroll down here, you can see the available for use. Now, if you want to, notice this drop-down menu here. I can show large previews, which are a little better, or I can use it to, like if I do large previews, it comes down, that way you can see a little bit more, or I can take that off and it uses the smaller thumbnails. So that's one way of looking at it. The other thing you'll notice is I can apply it to all slides in my new presentation, or when I apply design templates, I can use it to apply to only selected slides. I can go through and select about 4 or 5 slides and then come here to the design template or slide design, task pane, and then I can apply that design so it doesn't go through and just put it to all the slides. Use for all new presentations. I can make, instead of this blank white one as my default, I can use clouds as my new default presentation if I just click New Presentation without using the design templates. So if I scroll down here, I can see a whole bunch of different ones that I can use, and got some great colors in here. Many of them I've used. I really like this. It's known as a slit. You got kimono, curtain call, fireworks. I use this one. This one's a really nice, great color scheme. So if I click on it, it's going to go in and say we can use this. I mean, look at those reds, and you can use yellow text. It really snaps. Yes, I know that's a Chris Ward term. That snaps. Snaps out at you, which means, it's like, wow, you open up your eyes and go, that is cool. So here we can use just any one of these particular design templates, and look at this. My title's changed. It's now Presentation 3. If I come over here to Window, you'll notice I've got Presentation 2 and Presentation 1 still. Presentation 1 was that blank one that I had that was just, I got the 3 slides, it's using the default. If I click Window and go to Presentation 2, hey, still got it. Here's my Products and Services Overview one that I did with my applications. And then, of course, I have my new one, which is Presentation 3. Now watch this. Let's say I add some, this is great for a title slide, but then when I add some new slides, notice it goes ahead and does the standard. Now you have a title for the slide and bullet text. That's kind of the template, what they call the scheme that we're using here, or the layout scheme. So now let's say I just want the title page to have this color, but all subsequent slides, I want to use a different template. So what I can do is I can select these by clicking on the first one and Shift. And now, when I come down here, let's say I want to move, still want to use red, but I want to use this curtain call one. I come down here and I say Apply, the down arrow, click that, Apply to Selected Slides. Now what it does is it goes in and see only the selected slides did this apply to. Notice it ignored my title one. If I had not selected these and clicked only Apply to Selected Slides, it would automatically default to apply to all slides. And so my title slide and all these would be good. Now see, look at this. Here's your title page, and now you got your little curtain call. The color scheme kind of matches, and we can use this. Now I'm not trying to show you how color coordinated I am. Trust me, just ask my wife. I'm not very color coordinated. But when it comes to presentations, I know what I like and what looks good. And so you do too, I'm sure. You know what you like and what looks good. Use it, because you got to be comfortable with whatever presentation that you're going to do. By the way, that's a tip that I'm going to show in one of my later videos in this series on how to make good presentations. We got 2 videos that we're going to do on how to pick the slides, what to use for certain types of presentations, and how to really jazz it up a little bit, but yet not make it so busy that everybody's just like, oh my gosh, what was that? And they had no idea what you were talking about. They were too busy watching all the cool stuff on the slides. So here we go. This is how we use a design template and how we use the auto configuration wizard. It's more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall office buildings in a single bound. It is the auto content wizard, which literally just enables us to create presentations on the fly. But they're pretty powerful. We like those. Then we also have our design templates, which allow us, instead of just automatically filling in and building a presentation that we have to tweak a little bit, design templates just give us that. A blank canvas with good colors and formatting choices that we can then start inputting the content into. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.